Last year I made this TATE romper. I was part of the testing group and it was a super fun make, but I realized that I'm not wearing it a lot. I picked out this super fun gingham fabric, and as fun as I feel the fabric is, I'm really not wearing it a lot. And what's funny is that I say that as I'm getting ready to make a different project out of gingham, but I think the issue with this project is that the cotton just doesn't have enough drape, and so when I'm wearing it, it's feeling a little too tent-like, a little too picnic blanket-esque, which, you know, no shade if that's what you're into. We are going to use some rite dye today to see if we can get a better color outcome so that I will hopefully wear it more. And here is a closer look at the fabric of my romper before we dive into this project. Knowing what kind of fabric you are working with is going to be really important for knowing which dye to pick up. So this is a cotton fabric from Joann that I really want to dye brown. My store did not have brown, so we will be using blue and orange to make brown. And if this doesn't work out, I'm just going to buy black and dye the thing black. And honestly, this project is really simple. You're just gonna follow the directions. Luckily, my sink is black, so I don't have to worry about staining or ruining the color, but definitely do this at your own risk if you're going to be using your kitchen sink. And you're just gonna follow the instructions on the bottle. You need to shake these like there's no tomorrow. The water needs to be a specific temperature. So you saw I was pouring in some hotter water from a kettle, and then I just cleaned up any little splashes that happened as I saw them to make sure that my kitchen did not get stained. Another note on the bottle is that depending on the type of fabric that you are dyeing, there are additional tips of what you need to add into the dye bath. So for example, for cotton fabric, it was recommended that I added a cup full of salt as well as some liquid dish detergent. And here comes the fun part. I highly recommend wearing gloves while you are dealing with the dye bath because this stuff gets on your skin and it is really difficult to get off. So I was sure to wear my gloves throughout this entire process. And again, I was very careful to not splash the dye water onto anything around this space. But here you can see this is right after I put the fabric into the dye bath, and it started to soak it up pretty quickly. Now, for the most part, thread and zippers will not take the dye. So since I made this project with a light colored zipper and white thread, you can see that they kind of got a tiny bit of a dye, but not really. They did not take a lot of the color, but that's okay because most of that stitching is on the inside of the garment. So you'll need to leave your project in the water for at least 30 to 60 minutes, and you need to be constantly moving the fabric. Otherwise, you run the risk that the fabric will not fully absorb consistently throughout the whole project. And it's important to keep in mind that the fabric is always going to look darker when it is wet. So I just went ahead and left this in for a full 30 minutes because even though it looked pretty dark, I was fairly confident, since I have used this dye before, that a lot of it would wash out. Once you are satisfied with how long you have left your project in the dye bath for, it is time to drain the water and then rinse your project with cool water until that water runs clear, and then you are ready to pop it in the washing machine. I use a bucket to transfer it from the sink so that it doesn't drip all over my floor. And here is the final product. I love how the color turned out and that you can actually still see the gingham print through the brown dye. I think this is such a good reminder of how you can use dye to repurpose something that's in your closet that you realize you aren't wearing very much anymore. As usual, thank you for watching, and if there are any DIY projects you want me to try out, please be sure to leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next one.